Welcome to the Wolf Pro Guide update video. This video shows some footage from the Wolf that I was able to capture after the release of the Wolf Pro Guide. I've flown it a few times since, and it's still a great ship to fly. Right here you can see I was in nullsec. I had undocked and there was a Dramiel sitting there waiting on me. I didn't think he would aggro, but he locked me up and had his drones out as if he wanted to fight, so I got ready. I primed my overload, locked him up. I've got my guns primed to be overloaded and my rep. Now, unless he's able to avoid my damage, this is an easy fight. So the fight begins, we both start shooting each other. Neither of us can dock, it's just us in system, so there's not much fear of being blobbed. He's a shield tank. 90% of the time, Dramiels are shield tanked, if not 100%. So right before I go into armor, I turn on my armor repair, because I want it to, since its rep comes at the end of the cycle, you turn it on as you're going in. You maybe get a few more reps if you're going down fast. It's just a good practice to do that. You see he goes down really fast. So in that case I had hoped for a harder fight, but I didn't have to overload anything there. Had I not overloaded anything, I would have won with ease. I just did it just in case. Had he been an afterburner tracking disruptor, he probably could have avoided quite a bit of my damage and slowly grinded through me. Right here I'm in the Wolf as well, except now I'm in Aga warping to a small faction warfare plex. The Wolf's not ideal for faction warfare, but it's still an awesome frigate, so even though it's not the king of faction warfare, which I would you know, that title would probably for me go to either the Comet, the Firetail under certain conditions, but no, probably more like the Comet or the maybe the Harpy. You can see here there's an Inyo sitting on the plex. I wanted to fight the Inyo, but I did not expect this Hawk to come into the fight. So he's there, nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to try to rage through this Inyo. I've got fusion loaded ahead of time because I know that his hull's most likely explosive. And I'm going to try to just rage through him and hope that once he's dead, the DPS is going to drop to the point where I can rep this Hawk and kill the Hawk. Unfortunately, it's not looking like that's the case. It's taking too long for me to kill this Inyo. He's got a ton of structure, he's still repping, and by the time I get to the Hawk, I'm already pretty much dead. Had it went a little bit slower and had I started a little bit earlier on the Inyo, maybe I could have killed the Inyo and then had enough tank left over to tank the Hawk and kill him. Probably not. It was a hard fight, but in there it's just a matter of seeing an opportunity and going for it, even though I knew that there was other ships around that could potentially come in on the fight. I just wanted to fight. So right here I am also going to a small plex, and I'm going there to fight a Republic Fleet Firetail. And you can see there on the range has changed now. The recent patch changed how the range and angle work. They're still the same thing, they're just set up different in the directional scan. But I lower my range down to about 1 AU right there. It's the equivalent of about 1 AU because I subtract 1 digit off the total. So 1.43 is, I think, actually what that range is. That tells me if there's anything coming close. It doesn't scan the whole system, it just lets me know if there's anything landing or warping to that entrance gate that I need to know about, and gives me a little bit of an advanced warning of maybe being blobbed. I land, he's sitting at 0. As you know, faction warfare, a lot of times people just won't fight, so they'll sit at 0 and wait for something to come. So I come in and I get on top of him. The biggest threat for me here in faction warfare is a lot of people like to kite, whether it's kiting within scram range or kiting outside of scram range. Lucky me, this guy is right at 0, so there's no real threat of him kiting me. That would be his best tactic, since you can see it looks like he's running an afterburner. If he was kiting me, he would do considerably better, I think. If he was trying to like throw in some barrage and scram web, afterburner overloaded. But you can see there, he wasn't too much of a challenge for me. If I was going to use the Wolf exclusively for faction warfare, I would run an afterburner instead of a micro warp drive, and I would be very prepared to use barrage to counter some of these guys. So right here's a video you may have seen. There's a Talos, Hound, Oracle, Stiletto on that gate. I'd seen a Saber before this, and there he is. He just uncloaked. I think he had jumped through with me. I want to isolate something off this gang. I can't fight all this gang with the Wolf. So what I want to do is try to remove some of these people from the fight. You can see there everything aggroed except for the saber. So everything's aggroed except for the saber. I'm going to jump through, hope the saber jumps through with me. He did, species, there he is. And now I'm just going to go kill that saber before his buddies can get through. It's a 1 minute aggro before they can come back through to this side. So I've got 1 minute to kill this guy. Wolf versus saber, it all depends on the pilot and the fitting. Usually a tackle saber you can kill. If they're using it in a fleet like this, he's probably not fit up for pure like solo PvP, and he'll die rather quickly. If someone fits a saber for solo or purposely to kill frigates, then yes, they're going to kill you. But most of the time, if they're using it for tackle like this, it's going to go down relatively quick. You see I'm tanking him without much trouble. He's not putting out nearly as much DPS as he should. Talos comes in there. I don't want to sit still here. I actually sat still way too long. Had the Talos got a lock and got a shot on me while I was sitting there, my warp drive on, not moving, he would have did massive damage. But now that I'm moving, he's not going to do much at all. Burn out of the bubble and keep aligned to something and warp. You see right there, Scimitar came in at the end. Now, there's a possibility there that had I went to the Talos, most of their stuff's T3s. If I got on top of the Talos, maybe I could have burned him down. But then again, there's the Scimitar. There's no way I'd beat Scimitar reps. It was a good call on my part to get out of there. I did not know the Scimitar was coming, I don't think. But it was a good call to get out of there at that point and not to push my luck by trying to charge in on the Talos. So in this case, I am in Barliget. What I would do in Barliget is I would go to a station that was in the middle of all the belts. So all the belts were at that planet. Planet was 7. And I would scan the belts. I'd just do a circle around and find what was in the belts. This is when brave newbies lived in Barliget. They have since moved over to Sindaya, and probably are doing the same thing there that they did here, giving tons and tons of opportunities for fights like this where pretty much there's stuff in the belt, you go there and you try to kill it before their standing fleet comes to kill you, is pretty much the game. They've always got a fleet ready in their system to warp to you. And so as their pilots are out ratting, all their pilots have to do is yell on comms or in chat, I'm being attacked, or whatever it happens to be. And then the standing fleet all warps to that guy because they all stay in the same fleet while ratting or mining in the system. But they're disorganized enough that most of the time, if you're just going to kill just one relatively soft target, you can take him down pretty quick. So in this case, I was warping in. I know I was going to fight a Punisher, so I've got explosive fusion, Republic Fleet fusion in there. I'm going to run to him and try to kill him as fast as possible, because I know that there's other stuff that's likely to come in on me once this fight starts. I accidentally engaged my guns long before they had a chance of hitting him. And now I get my scram and my guns on him. Go ahead and run the NAS just in case. I want to try to keep my capacitor at a good level if possible. And as he dies, I kind of just want to make sure I watch my directional and make sure that nothing else comes in on us. Luckily he dies rather quick. The Punisher is known for having a huge buffer tank. This guy did not have a huge buffer tank. A good Punisher can tank like over 10,000 DP or 10,000 hit points or something like that. This guy did not have that. Now I am also, again, faction warfare, it looks like. Or am I? Oh no, this is, in this fight I was actually hunting this Omen, and I had warped to a planet. He warped to the customs office of the planet. You can see him 100k off me. I may have warped 100k on the customs office, I'm not sure. I get a good look at him, see what he's using. Alright, that looks like it's either small pulse lasers or potentially beam lasers. Either way, I imagine this guy wants to fight me, this Omen. He wants to kill me at range. He wants to probably start shooting me at about 30k, 40k, and kill me before I get in on top of him. So my best way, our best tactic of killing this guy is to get in on 0 of him before he can get a shot off on me. So just in the heat of the moment, I devised the idea. I was going to burn away from him and away from that customs office, and then I was going to warp to the customs office at 100 and land right on top of him, or at least do my best to make that happen. So I'm trying to watch. I'm looking at his range from me, his range from the customs office. Looks real good. He's 50 while the customs office is 150. I turn around, cut the micro warp drive so I warp faster, warp to 100 on the customs office. So I'm going to land real close to him. He is going to be kind of shocked that that happened. It's going to kind of confuse him, a little bit of surprise factor there. That's always a good thing. See, I warp, boom. I'm right on top of him. Not perfect, but enough with the confusion. He's only 20 off me. I'm going to burn in straight for him so that I'm hopefully on top of him before he gets a shot off. He's got me locked. He manages to get a couple shots off on me. I get my scram, which is crucial. Just get the scram, get the scram. He's trying to burn now. I need to get that scram. Alright, so I've cut his scram. I've got in on top of him, and I'm now just kind of coasting in under those guns. So his guns are not going to hit me. He's got web drones out. I want to go ahead and kill those, so I'm going to keep him pointed, and I'm going to kill those drones off to make sure I can keep my velocity up. I do not want my velocity to slow to the point where he can get shots in on me. So now I've pretty much got this guy dead to rights. I've perfectly got myself in on him. I've got under his guns. I've scrammed him. I've got him pointed. Everything's great. He's not even stressing my tank. I'm going to kill this guy no problem. Except there's some other stuff on scan. So I've pretty much won this fight. I should have this, I mean, by honor, this should be mine. I outplayed this guy, and I should be able to kill him. Unfortunately, he calls for his friend the Myrmidon. Now, there's no way on Earth I can tank the drones of a Myrmidon long enough to kill this Omen, because I'd originally thought he was going to be armor fit, so I fit fusion. It appears he's a shield Omen. So it's taken me forever to get through his shields. And now I'm going to have to burn off out of point range before the Myrmidon gets on top of me, because if the Myrmidon were to get its bonus, say, Hobgoblins on me, that's like 150 DPS or something. I don't want that much DPS on me because I can't take it for very long. It's unfortunate, but sometimes you got to know when to give up and get out, even if you had the fight won. If they bring in more than you can take, it's better to survive if you have that option. A lot of times it's kind of, you know, on the line there. Stay and fight and maybe win, or run away and maybe die. In that case, it's probably better just to stay and fight and take the death and hope you win and get lucky. But you see here, I was in Nullsec again, Syndicate, and there's a Helios and a Stiletto. Now, I'm not really too worried about the Stiletto. He can't do enough damage to me to really worry me. The Helios, I have a feeling, you know, I can kill this guy pretty easily. Most Helioses are very thinly tanked and can be killed rather quickly. I do see there's a ton of stuff on scan. You see all those Taloses and Oracles. I really don't want to fight those guys, and I certainly don't want to fight the Stabber Fleet issue, because the Stabber Fleet issue is fantastic at anti-frig, and it's would kill my wolf rather quickly if it was set up properly. You see, this is also that species guy. I evidently run into him quite often. I don't really notice it until I go back and watch the videos, but I tend to. I've seen him in like 3 or 4 of my PvP videos. I guess it's just because he happens to live like 4 jumps from me. I tend to run into him often. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get him to aggro. I want to get him out of the fight. So I'm going to go down to the gate, and I'm just going to orbit the gate until he aggroes me. Then I'm going to jump through. That removes him from the fight for 1 minute. So there we go. He's aggroed. I'm going to jump through. Now I've got 1 minute to kill that Helios and hope that those Oracles and Taloses don't come in. If they do, they're going to miss a lot of shots, and I have a good chance of getting out. I'm really curious. Why is this Helios sitting like 20k, 30k off gate, not moving? Is he AFK? Does he not realize he's uncloaked? What's going on here? Well, okay. Obvious bait is obvious bait. He's just bait. He's there to kill me, even though he's going down really fast. He's got his tracking disruptor on me, and all of a sudden my DPS on him just stops. But it looks like I almost have him. He's still going down. Now he's getting further and further away from me, so I'm doing less damage. I've lost my point. Got it back. As you see, he's dictating range on me. He's able to keep me out there at that range where I can't do any DPS to him hardly. So even though I've got him in half structure, I can't finish him off. There's an Oracle now on field. It's about to start shooting at me. And with the Oracle, it's enough to challenge my tank and actually bring me down. I was tanking the Helios. I have to give this pilot a lot of credit. It was a tricky and risky maneuver he pulled there. Now the Starfleet's back in. I'm really screwed. So at this point, I've just selected something to warp to so I can spam it and get my pod out.